Today, I want to tell you about a two-player card game that is perfect for couples. It's ridiculously easy to learn, it's super addictive, and it's just the right level where it feels really competitive, but it's not going to end in arguments. It's called Lost Cities. Give me 10 minutes and I'll tell you why you'll love it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more board game recommendations. In Lost Cities, you play as intrepid explorers, going on expeditions to hard-to-reach corners of the world so that you've finally got something good to tell people at parties. There are 5 expeditions you can go on, represented by 5 colours, and you will build your route by playing the cards in numerical order. The further you get, the better, because each card is worth points for its number. You're fighting with your rival over the same expeditions, and the magic of the game comes from this board in the centre, because every time you discard a card to make space in your hand for something new, you put it in the middle, and now your opponent can take that card. Great job, you've just helped them score points. It makes Lost Cities a tense, cagey affair where you keep cards just to stop your opponent from getting them. It's like you're in a divorce settlement. You always hated that porcelain hedgehog, but now you're not letting go of it because you know how much your partner wants it. Lost Cities was designed by Dr. Rainer Knizia, who I'd argue is the best board game designer of all time. He has designed over 700 games since his first game 31 years ago. He released Lost Cities in 1999, the same year as his great games Ra and Schottentotten, which, to put into context, is like Steven Spielberg releasing Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same year. But where's the third film, Steven? Lazy. Of all of his games, Lost Cities is the one that most users of BoardGameGeek.com own, at 54,000 people. And it doesn't just sit in their collections unplayed. Last month alone, users recorded 1,500 games of Lost Cities, which is more than even Pandemic or Catan were played. Rainer Knizia is from Bavaria in southern Germany. He's a doctor of mathematics, and he worked for years in banking, managing a $2 billion financial company. He left that world in '97 at the age of 40 to design games full-time. But you can feel his money background come through in his games because many focus on working out the right price for something, like his auction games Modern Art and Medici. He gets up at 4:30 in the morning to start designing games, and he has a cabinet in his house with 50 drawers in it. Each drawer contains a game idea that he's working on. But despite designing hundreds of games across many genres, the common thread among them all is simple rules. He works hard to distill a game down to its purest form before he releases it. But beneath that simplicity are hidden strategic depths that you only discover when you play the game. And Lost Cities is the perfect example of that. All you do on your turn is play a card and then pick up a card. But deciding which card to play is as tough as any game. How big of a risk do you take? That's at its heart. Just putting down a card to start an expedition is a gamble, because every expedition costs you 20 points. So you need to play cards on it adding up to more than 20, or you'll literally get minus points for it. If you're feeling confident, you can take an even bigger risk by starting an expedition with a wager card. This represents you being a smug adventurer. Is there any other kind? And placing a bet on your expedition that it's going to be awesome. You have to play it first before you play a route card, and it will double your score. So if your score is in minus figures, it will double that too, making it even worse. If you play 2 or 3 wager cards, you will triple or quadruple that score. All of which means that the scores in Lost Cities are all over the place. You can embarrass yourself with minus 80 points if you really mess up. But that's what makes it such an exciting, dramatic game. You know you can win big or fail hard, and it makes you care even more next time. That risk of a failed expedition means you don't want to commit to a colour until you've collected enough good cards to pay back the debt. The trouble is, you can only hold 8 cards, so you don't have room to plan that far ahead. you will have to take a risk and play that first one. And as soon as you do, the other player knows what you want. Until then, blue cards meant nothing to them. They might have discarded some without thinking about it. Now, if they pick up a blue 10, your most important card, they will keep it for the rest of the game, so you can't have it. I call it hate hoarding, and it's a very real and important strategy. Most turns, you have to decide between two things you don't want to do. One, discard a card you would rather keep, and which might help them out massively, just so you can hopefully get something better off the deck. Two, play a card onto an expedition that isn't the next number, spoiling that perfect run you were hoping for and losing potential points. Even worse option, because it's a permanent commitment to mediocrity. It's like painting your wall grey and then selling your paintbrushes. There's no fixing it later. But listen, perfect is the enemy of good, because every turn you wait it out by discarding a card, you're wasting a chance to get points down and speeding up the end of the game. All you have right now is grey paint. You don't know if you'll ever get another colour, so you can either paint it now and move on with your life, or live in white wall limbo. But, if I can butt my last butt, if you create a run of 8 cards, you will score 20 bonus points. 20! How can you settle for grey when gold is just around the corner? So you keep drawing from the deck, but as soon as it runs out, the game ends, and it creeps up fast. I always fly too close to the sun and end up running out of time to play all my later cards, and they're the most valuable ones. Oh, it's magical. This game makes you feel things. The way you never have enough space in your hand to keep all the cards you need. The feeling when you begrudgingly pick one of them to discard and your opponent snaps it up like a dog waiting beneath the dinner table, as if it's the tastiest card they've ever seen in their life. When you find out they've been hate hoarding the cards you want, and they've collected so many, they've started an expedition in that color themselves, and it's better than yours. This game sends you on such a roller coaster with just 60 cards. It really shows you why Rainer Knizia is the master. Sorry, doctor. I'd recommend Lost Cities to anyone who wants a 2-player game you can just play and play. I think it's perfect for couples because it's just the right level of being fiercely competitive, but without being aggressive. It couldn't be simpler to pick up, but it really does get better the more you play it and appreciate its nuances. If you're new to board games, you might be thinking, why would I buy a game that's only for 2 players when I could get something like Ticket to Ride or Carcassonne that plays 2 to 5 players? The thing is, there's something special about a game designed specifically for 2. There's this push and pull dynamic that makes them more intense, and Lost Cities is the perfect example of that. But be careful to get the right version because there are 4 other games with the Lost Cities name. Hey, franchise is gonna franchise. Lost Cities to Go, Lost Cities the board game, Lost Cities the Rivals, and Lost Cities Roll and Write. They're all okay, but none of them can hold a candle to the original Lost Cities. If you do want to buy it, there's a link in the description below. And sure, some of them can play more than 2 players, but if you want a game that's like Lost Cities, which you can play with more players, then Arboretum is the answer, and it's also great at 2 players. If you want more great couples games, then you're in the right place because I have many videos on the subject, including my top 10 couples game video. I'll put links to them all below. If you already loved Lost Cities and you want something more advanced, I'd recommend Rainer Knizia's other game, Schottentotten, also known as Battle Line, as well as Air, Land and Sea, videos below. To be honest, there are a lot of great games in this style. Hanamakoji is another one. If you'd like me to make a video on that, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to help me make more videos like this, then please become a patron of the channel at patreon.com/actuallol. You can get my monthly newsletter where I talk about games that I don't cover on the channel. And if you're new to actuallol, now is your second reminder to subscribe. I won't tell you again. I'm John Perkis, thanks for watching.